Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage our hosts, Brooke Shields and Allie Wentworth.
That's how you get people to be quiet. Good
Good
evening.
evening.
I'm
I
Allie
am Brooke
Wentworth, and
Shields,
this is Brooke
Allie
Shields.
Wentworth.
I'm sorry. I was just really surprised that they asked you to host this with me.
I was too.
Only because I usually host events by myself.
Same.
No, I mean, it's usually just me up here at the podium.
Yep. Same.
Okay. Well, when I do a book tour or I have speaking engagements, it's just me.
Well, I mean, you know I've written a bunch of books. Yeah, and it's always just been me at the podium.
Okay. Right.
I'm Brooke Shields.
Yes, we know you're Brooke
I'm an
Shields.
icon.
Okay. So why did they ask us to both MC this event?
Well, I think it's obvious. You're the sidekick.
I am not. I'm the sidekick. I'm the sidekick.
I'm not the sidekick. I'm the star. You're like the lucky best friend.
You're the mom.
You're the grandma.
Okay, well, here we are. And unless you're going to go sing something from Chicago.
Oh, I just
think
might.
let's start this. Oh, it's sad. The truth is, Brooke Shields and I are here because you guys are sick of Seth Meyers. Oh, we get it. We get it. I was lucky enough to produce a documentary called Pretty Baby Brooke Shields. Thank you. Thank you. I hope that's for me and not her. She's gotten a lot already this evening. And in the documentary, we not only talked about her extraordinary life, but we talked about kind of an in-depth look at the sexualization of young girls in our culture and how it's still perpetuated today. And we also showed how Brooke has persevered, has shown so much courage as a survivor of sexual assault, and now we're here to support victims of gender violence.
True to its name, for 40 years, Sanctuary has been a family close to 8,000 survivors of gender violence who seek their help every year.
And Sanctuary offers legal representation, counseling, shelter, workforce training, everything a person might need to leave an abusive relationship and find safety and stability and a life free from violence.
Sanctuary has pioneered programs and legislation. They have focused on the survivor and their unique needs.
If a survivor walks in the door and expresses their need for something Sanctuary doesn't have, they figure it out.
Sanctuary sees clients as more than just a set of legal challenges or counseling sessions. They look at the whole person, and they try to meet their many, sometimes often complex needs. It's something this organization sticks to and it firmly, firmly believes in. A true sanctuary for survivors.
So by being here this evening, you are showing the world you are committed to supporting survivors. We need to listen to them, and when they tell their stories, allow them to tell their stories and support the organization like Sanctuary so we can all live in a world free from gender violence.
So, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much for being a part of our family.
And now, if you'll allow us to introduce Chief Executive Officer, the Honorable Judy Harris Kluger. Oh, Judy, I'm so sorry you have to walk in on this.
It's kind of hard to follow that, but I will try. Thank you so much, Brooke and Allie, for joining us tonight. And Brooke, we're especially honored and grateful to have you here. As Allie mentioned, the powerful documentary about your life as a young model and actress gave voice to countless others who have been exploited. And to all of you here tonight, our supporters, welcome and thank you for joining us, all 1,000 of you. It's kind of unbelievable and fabulous. It's hard to believe that Sanctuary has been on the ground for 40 years, helping survivors find safety, justice, and healing. To give you a sense of how far we've come in our effort to end gender-based violence, in the year that Sanctuary was founded, in New York State, if a woman was sexually assaulted, she had to prove she had earnestly resisted her attacker. Marital rape was legal, trafficking victims were referred to as prostitutes, and there were no domestic violence shelters. Sanctuary's advocacy played a critical role in many of the law and policy changes that provide protection to victims, but we have a way to go. Femicide, the intentional murder of a woman because she is a woman, is a crime that continues to plague us. 3 women are killed in the United States each day by their intimate partner. We need to change antiquated laws that favor abusers at the expense of brave survivors. Those who commit mass shootings nearly always have a history of either growing up in a violent home or committing acts of domestic violence. While our 40 years of work has been groundbreaking, we are far from done. Our organization's model is powerful because we focus on the individuals and the systems that impact their lives. Holistic, robust, direct services coupled with powerful advocacy, that is Sanctuary for Families. We could not do this without the expertise and passion of our staff, the commitment of our countless volunteers, and your immense generosity. I'm indebted to our amazing board, which includes tonight's honorees, Lori, Alia, and of course Dennis, our board president, who has been my partner in this work for the last 6 years. I especially want to thank tonight's underwriting sponsors, the Schwartz and Ferdman families. And as always, thanks, yes. And thanks to Lisa Mueller, Susan Puder, Jeannie Kimbrell, and Sanctuary's terrific development team for producing tonight's event. "40 years ago, a small group of women saw a need, took action, and created Sanctuary. One of them is here tonight, Marianne Mailman. Marianne, wherever you are in this room, you remain the heart and soul of what we built. Finally, my utmost respect and deepest gratitude to Sanctuary's talented and devoted staff. Their fierce commitment to our clients inspire me every day. Thank you all for being here this evening. Here's to the last 40 years and the road ahead that we will travel together." It is now my pleasure to introduce someone who doesn't need any introduction, my friend and colleague, Dorchen Leitholt. She is a fearless defender and advocate for survivors and has led our legal center for the past 30 years.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Judy. In 1984, the winds of gender justice were stirring. I was on my way to law school to represent survivors, unaware that the organization that would become my professional home of 30 years was breaking ground. I picked up a pen, that's how we did it back then, and wrote a letter to the New York Times headed, "People Indifferent to Violence Against Women." I was responding to the savage killing of Kitty Genovese, a notorious case of what we now call femicide, where neighbors heard a woman's desperate screams but did nothing because they dismissed it as a lover's quarrel. The issues that the case brought to the fore, the centuries-old collective denial of the severity and too often lethality of domestic violence, the trivialization of a woman's cries for help, the failure of the public and systems to intervene. These were barriers to protection and to justice that Sanctuary was mobilizing to tear down. How? By constantly breaking new ground, the most therapeutic responses to trauma, the most innovative strategies of economic empowerment, initiatives extending our services to survivors of campus sexual assault and sex trafficking, wrongly incarcerated survivors, migrants fleeing gender persecution, and in remembrance of Kitty Genovese, a new feminist justice committee tackling the strategic priority of femicide. Over 4 decades, Sanctuary has brought together so many people committed to our mission, many in this room tonight. Your partnership has brought hope and safety to gender violence survivors local and global, as it has galvanized systemic change. The full story and impact of Sanctuary cannot be shown in a short clip, but I hope this video will spark your curiosity, motivate you to demand justice for survivors, and inspire you to stay in this life-saving work with me and with all of us.
The emergency in New York City was that domestic violence victims had no place to go.
The story is that in 1984, a number of individuals came together to address the issue of domestic violence. They were working from a church before they had an official building. They were housing people in their homes.
There was not an understanding of what domestic violence was. The police didn't understand, the courts didn't understand. I think society at large didn't understand.
Clients needed more than just a safe place to sleep. They needed counseling, they needed services for their children, they needed job training and education. They really needed every part of their life supported.
And fast forward to today, we provide all that and more.
And all of that provides like lights on a runway.
Sanctuary was able to buy this huge rundown building in the Bronx for $1. And within 5 years, they were able to turn it into the largest transitional shelter in New York City. We have amazing programming. We have social workers, we have case managers. Each one of our shelters has a children and family services programming. So we have after school, we have art therapy, we have summer camp, we have Girl Scouts, we have a childcare on site. Other shelters really don't have all of this. No one wants to be in shelter. It's not a place that folks want to be. We really try to make it a space where they feel safe and welcome.
Domestic violence is an intergenerational problem, and we are working in every way we can to break that cycle and to work with all aspects of the family and to work with children to help them really have hope in a new future.
We realized that a large majority of the individuals we served were immigrant survivors, and so our team is comprised of staff who speak, I think, 30 different languages.
Domestic violence and gender-based violence does not discriminate. Doing this work is about justice.
Courts didn't know what to make of us at first. There was no practice area of domestic violence law. That did not exist. We were it. And we were really kind of almost revolutionaries. We were going into the family courts where there had never been specialized attorneys who represented victims. Today, we have over $60 million in donated pro bono legal services from our friends in the private sector every year. We are the largest legal center dedicated to the representation of gender-based violence survivors in the country, and honestly, probably in the world.
We have to continue the fight. We have to become activists in a way that we have never thought of before, and we have to understand collectively that the gains that we have fought so hard for are being rolled back and taken away, and we cannot let that happen.
The magic of Sanctuary is that we evolve as we realize what the needs of our clients are. Our clients needed a way to make a living.
So the Economic Empowerment Program was created. Our first program in that department was the Career Readiness Training Program, a rigorous training to qualify for living wage jobs. Economic empowerment, it's the right work to do.
What happens at Sanctuary really reflects what is happening in the wider world. We know there's an increase in violence, there's an increase in poverty, income inequality, racial tensions. We see that every day in our clients.
But we are answering by providing education, counseling, legal representation, advocating for reproductive freedom and justice for survivors, and by responding to changing needs with new and improved programs, making sure that our clients are strong and independent and free to change their stories.
40 years of Sanctuary means protection, support, and empowerment of our survivors, and it means Sanctuary in the broadest definition of the term. I wish we could be out of business in another 40 years, and I hope that we are. However, till then, we'll continue to do the work that is needed to help people in this city and wider than that. Part of our mission says we believe that safety from gender-based violence is a basic human right, and that guides our work.
Now, please welcome Jessica Munoz to the stage.
Okay, good evening. My name is Jessica Munoz. I'm a survivor of sexual assault in the setting of intimate partner violence. I went through re-traumatizing systems designed to help as a witness in a criminal court case, family court, and administration of child services. After a violent assault, I was forced to move to a domestic violence shelter, not a sanctuary shelter. This is where my son and I lived jail style with a 9 p.m. curfew, and I had to ask for permission to go to my night's ER tech job at New York Presbyterian Hospital. As a victim, psych. You thought you were getting a victim narrative this evening. No, we're not doing this on the 40th anniversary of Sanctuary for Families, because this organization is focused on helping survivors, overcomers, rebuild. Sanctuary threw me a lifeline during the crisis phase, holding my hand through criminal and family court proceedings, protecting me, empowering me with an understanding of the legal system. They showed love with therapeutic services, including body work, not just your usual talk therapy. Yes, this organization addresses trauma stored in the body with somatic interventions that involve movement and breathing, trauma-informed boxing, strength training, and dance. Tonight, I want to talk about my role as a survivor leader with Sanctuary and introduce you to survivor leadership culture, because it is this culture that sets Sanctuary apart from the rest. Survivor leadership culture is what makes us the special forces of responding to and preventing gender-based violence. We are efficient and elite. Let me tell you why. A survivor leader is someone who reinvests their lived experience, expertise, and cultural expertise to change organizations and systems. Survivor leadership culture is respecting said expertise and regarding a survivor as a technical expert in the workplace. I'm talking compensated work, not just gift cards and stipends. Peer leadership has been normalized for decades in substance use circles, but trauma-informed circles remain outdated, omitting this approach. Not Sanctuary. When we talk about gender-based violence to mainstream audiences, the focus tends to remain on the crisis phase, but this victim narrative chronicles the time when we are at our worst. We've been robbed of everything we have, our PTSD symptoms are not yet managed. Chaos was our home, and after leaving the abuser, we remain in survival mode as we receive responsive services. Most providers spend the most time with us when we are at our very worst, physically and mentally. The real magic happens further down the timeline when we reach the chapter that is long-term survivorhood. We may continue to experience PTSD symptoms, but they're well managed. We're stable, formally educated, or in the process of that. By the way, I started in the nursing home cleaning up code browns when I was with my abuser, and I couldn't finish nursing school. My biggest flex is that I gained all my higher education after I left my abuser. Thank you. Today, I am a licensed mental health counselor in New York State and a doctoral student. My focus is researching the impact of trauma-informed strength training on management of PTSD symptoms in sexual assault survivors. When I do my job, I lean on my lived experience the most. Yes, I work within the bounds of ethics and my license, but that vital therapeutic rapport is on fast forward because of my lived experience expertise. I move as someone trauma-informed, but quite simply, the vibe is on point. I'm turning 43 this year. I really didn't want to mortgage a PhD. I did it though because yes, I'm one of those women with a lot to prove. I wanted to produce survivor-designed research. Most of all, I wanted to be heard, to be taken seriously. You see, I'm a visible survivor. The phrase, I'm a survivor, always comes first with me. It's never an add-on. I shouldn't need a PhD for buy-in, yet I found without it, my expertise wasn't heard or respected. So tonight, I invite you to introduce yourselves to my fellow survivor leaders. They're right over there at a table at the back. And please remember those names if you speak to them. They're the experts you call on if you want your organization to be trauma-informed, if you want internal knowledge of going through re-traumatizing systems designed to help, if you want to make a dent in that oppressive system that we know it really needs bulldozing and rebuilt. Well, survivor leadership culture makes a visible dent in that system. It is cost-effective, efficient, and the key to prevention of gender-based violence. Because putting out fires is expensive. That's why I want you to invest in pathways to long-term survivorhood this evening. That is what Sanctuary are doing. We are the change makers, critical thinkers, here to enhance the self-awareness of providers. The literature says the cultural identity of a provider greatly influences interpretations of assessment. Survivor leadership culture turns the focus on the provider and their biases. The wiseness trauma brings renders us the most qualified when it comes to the vibe check. Our hypervigilance is useful. You start getting trauma-informed when you examine what you bring into a room. And if, like me, you walk around wearing that white privilege every day, reaping those benefits, enhancing that self-awareness is even more important. I want to thank my Sanctuary team, attorneys Rebecca Moy, Family Law, Lauren Patel, Matrimonial Law, my therapist, Ali Salwa, and Lucia Gonzalez, Sanctuary Survivor Leader Coordinator. Sanctuary, we are the MVPs of gender-based violence prevention. So this evening, I invite you to propel Sanctuary from the trailblazers of survivor leadership to international leaders in the field we need. Thank you, everyone, for showing up for us tonight. Gracias.
Now, please welcome to the stage Lydia Finette.
I don't know who was cheering out there, but what a mistake you made. Good evening, everyone. My name is Lydia Finette. I am your auctioneer this evening. Thank you so much for the paid people who are cheering on my left. For those of you who are talking, you can stop because I have great news for you tonight. I have taken 37 auctions in the past 2 months. This is the last auction of my spring season, so I'm off stage for 2 months after this, and I am so fired up. I have 2 months of energy coming at you, so we're going to do this fast. It's going to be furious. You guys aren't even going to know what happened at the end of it, but you're going to be poor, 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 and that is my job. I am here to make you poor. That is the only thing I'm here to do. And so, right before I got on stage, Sanctuary leaned over and they're like, listen, we have the most amazing news. In celebration of our 40th anniversary, we have been told by the board of directors that if we can hit $200,000 in a paddle raise tonight, which is just you raising your paddle, very easy, they will donate an additional $50,000. I know. But I was like, $200,000? Like, come on. I mean, this room, I've seen what you guys can do. So let's get ready to have some fun. I'm going to ask you guys a question. Applaud like crazy, otherwise I will mock you openly. Are you guys ready to have some fun? You know what, sir? I see you not applauding, and I will change your mind by the end of this. All right, let's start at the top. This is the way a paddle race starts. We start at the highest level, we keep going down. You don't talk to your friends, you applaud for people who are giving, and you drink everything on your table as fast as possible. It's super easy to do a paddle race. So let's start at the highest level, ladies and gentlemen, and I always say, just like at every auction I take, the people who bid that first level tend to be the people who everybody wants to be around. You know, they're like super fun, they're cool, they're like, I'm having a party, everyone comes. You know, everything they wear looks awesome. It's just who they are at the core. So let's start at the highest level, which tonight is $15,000, which helps provide specialized care via Sanctuary's clinical department. And if you haven't been with me before, I just want to throw this out there to all of you, that $15,000 is only $1 a day for the next 15,000 days. So you will not be alive to write that check, but you are going to feel good raising your paddle tonight. And here she comes. Paddle 215, Taylor Swift's younger sister, has entered the chat for Sanctuary this evening. $15,000 on my left. And paddle 203, a fellow brunette like me. Who has more fun in this room? You tell me. 203, we are at $30,000, but we've got to get to $200,000. Don't yell yet. We are not even close to where we need to be, ladies and gentlemen. I need more. You were thinking you were going to give $50,000, but now you're recalibrating because now you want to give $15,000. So I'm going to hold here because we're at $30,000, and I want you to feel a little uncomfortable while you think about what you're going to give tonight. Anyone at 15? And now I'm going to whisper it. Anyone at 15? Sometimes that works, but not tonight. $10,000 is the next level. Where do we go at $10,000? Is there anyone in the room at $10,000? Not a single person at $10,000. Sir, I saw you walk in and thought to myself, paddle 497 is the kind of person who takes a $10,000 paddle raise tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And now we are at $40,000. Hello, sir. Paddle 231 on our left. A fantastic head of hair, ladies and gentlemen. We should ask him later what he does to make that happen. And paddle 211, wearing pink on my left as well. A round of applause. And a gentleman seated in the front chair who reminds us all of a young Sean Connery, ladies and gentlemen. Paddle 204. And just like that, we are at $70,000. So that was more fun. See, when we got some energy? What if we got 3 more and made it to 100? Could we do that? Paddle 422, saw you walking in, thought to myself, that guy's going to give $10,000 because he came in on the yacht that's outside, ladies and gentlemen. I saw him sail up. He was wearing a sailor hat. He took it off and came inside. And now we're at $80,000. Anyone else at $10,000? Paddle 238. Ladies and gentlemen, look at this stunning woman at table 41 who just took us to $90,000. And when I said that before, you guys were all thinking this is crazy. There's no way. No one's going to give $10,000. And then paddle 716 just took us to $100,000. Do you see what a little time and a little motivation does for people, especially for an organization like Sanctuary? So now we are at $100,000, and we need to be at $200,000. You know what gets us there? 20 people at $5,000. Let's go. Anyone in the room, raise your paddle. 171, 652, 839, 834. Ladies and gentlemen, that's $25,000 raised. 776, 603, 141, 459, 247, and now we are at $50,000, guys. You've just raised $150,000, and we're not even done because we are wearing the same dress, and you look better than me. 343, so that's annoying. 159 on our left. 536, 539, 206. We are at $175,000, ladies and gentlemen. But stop applauding because we have more. Paddle 291 in the back of the room. I need 4 more. 439. I need 3 more. 491, 796, 133, 299, 271, 199. And now, ladies and gentlemen, you're just showing off because you are at $210,000 plus the $50,000. And suddenly we are at $260,000 in the room, and look at you guys. I knew you were going to do it. Let's keep going. 2,500 in the room. We have a couple levels left to go. I can barely breathe. I'm so excited. We are at 260,000, 584, 519, 144, 829, 270,000, 799, 266, 602, 436, $280,000, 347, 761, 674, 104, $290,000, 223, 205, 295 is so close. It is so close to 300. 2 at 2,500, 419. Who takes us to 300 in this room? You get the most applause. 838 on your right at $300,000. I mean, Jeannie, don't give me a goal of $200,000. It's just embarrassing in this room. Look at these people. All they want to do is give money to Sanctuary. All right, couple levels to go. $1,000, we are at $300,000. Anywhere in the room. All right, here we go. 408, 925, 703, 577, okay, wait. You guys put them up, and then you put them down, then you put them in front of each other, so you might get billed twice, but that's not my problem. That's yours. We're at 925, 925, 301, 756, 251, 673, 660, 145, 326, 316. I bet you guys are wondering how tall I am right now. And the answer is probably around 6'3", and I'm only wearing these because I don't have any more auctions. So there you go. You're welcome. 358, 212, 760, 963, 319, 293, 555, 201, 392, 444. Did you ever think that reading out numbers would be so fun? No, definitely not. 139, 381, 755, 617, 655, 415, 507. Put that down. 385, 421, 986, 813, 420, 709, 379, 571. Anyone else at the $1,000 level? I think I already got you, but again, if you want to be charged twice, we'll go again. 360, 213, 671. That paddle came down real fast. They're like, no. 172 in the center. I love the renegades who, after I do the whole room, are like, come back over and do another one. 621, and it looks like there's a lady holding up his arm. So, yes, ma'am. I like the way you roll. Okay, guys. I'm going to do 2 quickly, and then we're going to be done, and I'm going to get off this stage, and you're going to have dinner and a wonderful evening, but I just want to let you know you guys are unbelievable. $500 anywhere in the room. Let's keep going. All right, let's keep. 167, 567, 114, 858, 803, 143, 625, 140. Do you guys want me to tell you a story while I do this? I will. 832, I grew up in Lake Charles, Louisiana. 328, 234, I lost my Louisiana accent because my mom is British and she was horrified by having a child who had a Southern accent because I didn't use N or G in any letters. 330, 371, but if I need it, I can put it right back on. 565, 675, 184, 494. Sometimes I think that this 22-year career in charity auctioneering would have gone a lot better if I had a Southern accent. 248, 162, 926. I know you guys are all thinking 24 years, but she's 24 years old. I know, it's bizarre. 253, 980, 664, 127, 281, 807, 827. I'm having a problem breathing because this dress has a corset. 268, 473. It looks good on stage, but it makes it hard to breathe. 414, 855, 179, 559, 714, 188, 418, 416. You guys, I'm on the last two. You can go crazy after this. 563, 399, 249. Oh, God, there's someone on the left side of the room. 857 on our left at $500. Wild applause, ladies and gentlemen. All right. I'm going to do one last one for $250. I know we're going low, but let me just tell you something, guys. The small adds up quickly, and Sanctuary can use every dollar. But after the $250 level, you're going to get a text for any other amount that you want to give. So, as I said, if you did what I said and you've been drinking wine this whole time and possibly tequila, get a little reckless with that text message. You know what I mean? Like, don't text your ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend, but do put a lot of money in for Sanctuary. That is my lesson for tonight. I impart all of that on my children, too. All right, $250. I'll let you know when we're at the last one so you can save your applause. You're going to applaud like crazy. I'm going to enter our honorees, and then we're going to get off stage and have a good time. All right. Although, let's be honest, I'm having a pretty good time right now. All right, 530, 748, 581, 220, 404, 902. That is the back of your card, ma'am. So 903, 177, 251. I'm like, I don't have x-ray vision. Close. That looks like 261, 177, 176, 218, 217, 473, 613, 386, 239. You know, I do live in Manhattan. And so when I take these auctions, I'm always so happy to see people who are so awesome in New York. 445, 170, because not everybody is awesome. I'm just going to tell you that. 661, but everyone in New York is awesome. 861, 368, 452, 300, 365, 257, 256, 258, 241, 858, 274. All right, guys, get ready to go crazy because I'm off stage after this. Oh, no, I'm not. 423. Okay, you're going to get the last one. I'm just scanning the room. I don't want to leave any cash now that you guys have raised like $6 billion. Paddle 380. Wild applause like crazy.
Oh. I just want to say, I almost wore this dress. I want to say, you know, Brooke and I are besties, and we joke around way too much, and we're a lot of fun. And because we feel so strongly about this organization, we just decided we're going to auction off a dinner with she and I at our house, and you can bring 10 friends, and not the auctioneer, for sure, no way. She will shake you down for all the money you have. But Brooke and I will make dinner, 10 of you, and we would love to also, at another place, another time, our donation is we're going to make dinner and have a party for everybody at Sanctuary, but that's separate. We want you to bid. And I know, anybody that has a Birkin bag here should put their paddle up right now to have dinner with me and Brooke. And by the way, we've read everybody's financial portfolio in this room. You guys all had a great year. So it's Brooke and Allie at one of our houses with 10 of your friends. And as you can tell, it's going to be a really good time.
Start the bidding.
Well, I mean, I'm not even invited, so why do I have to do this job? She'll leave you girls to do it. I'm kidding. All right, guys, $1,000. Anyone? Dinner with Brooke and Allie. We're at $1,000. $2,000 on my left. $3,000 is bid on my right at $4,000. $4,000 is bid here. I'll take a bid of $5,000 next. We're at $4,000. It'll be like a better Instagram post than your usual ones when you're having dinner with Brooke Shields and Allie Wentworth.
Allie will be nude.
$5,000 is bid on my left at $6,000 on my right at $6,000 here. I'll take a bid of $7,000. $7,000 in a new place. $7,000 is bid on my right, but 10 feels like a good number to me. I mean, 7 is a good number, but like I'm more of a 5-digit girl. I'm actually more of like a 9-digit girl, but I'm kind of working on that right now. We're at We are over here on $7,000 on my right. $8,000 has been on my left at $8,000. Do I have 9 in the room? Oh, okay.
Hey, how about if we throw in Mariska Hargitay? Yes. Oh, yes. Our other bestie. All right, so it's Mariska, Brooke, and Allie.
And Lydia the auctioneer, we're at $8,000. $9,000 has been on my left at $9,000. I'll take a bit of $10,000 has been on my right. At $10,000 here, do I see 11 in the room? We are at $10,000 on my right. How boring is your ordinary evening compared to what's going to be happening at this party? I cannot even imagine. $11,000 has been on my left at $11,000. Ma'am, come back to me at 12. You look like someone who could hang with this crew. I'm looking at you across the room. You look fun. Your hair looks great. We are at $11,000 on my left. I'll take a bid of $12,000 anywhere in the room. At $11,000. And the best part of the whole thing, $12,000 has been in the center of the room. I see this pack of women who look like they're going to be having a lot of fun. But as I was going to say, when you're having dinner with the incredible Brooke Shields and Allie Wentworth and Mariska Hargitay, the best part of it is that you know that every dollar is going to Sanctuary. So amazing experience, yes, but the money's doing great work as well. We are at $12,000 in the center of the room. $13,000 has bid against you. 13 is bid. What do you say? Yes. $14,000 has been in the center of the room at 14. $15,000 and he's standing, or she's standing all the way on the right at 50. It's dark in here. You're a ways away. Paddle 421 at $15,000. What do you say? At $15,000, you'll be eating at Chipotle and you'll walk through the West Village. $16,000 is bid. Yeah, you'll be walking through the West Village, or probably they have townhouses and things like that, and you'll walk by and you'll be like, what's happening in that fun place with those beautiful... I could have been there. But she weren't, because she was there. At $16,000, any advance in the room?
Come on, let's do 20, people.
Yeah, 20 does sound like a nice
Sanctuary.
round number.
Come on.
Like, do you guys actually know how to cook?
Bradley Cooper will stop by for a cocktail.
Okay, well, that sounds like a nice addition to the dinner. Bradley Cooper's a nice guy, I think. He feels like the kind of guy who could up a party just by showing up. We're at $16,000. Wouldn't it be something if the addition of Bradley Cooper to a dinner party did not move the meter? Like, is the New York Post here right now? Because that feels like a headline to me. We're at $16,000 in the center of the room.
Who else do we know, Brooke?
I don't know, but they're all going to show up.
At $16,000, going once. $17,000 is bid. And she's standing again at $17,000. I have nothing but respect for people who stand up when they bid. That is my kind of bidder. I just want to let you know I see you over there at $17,000. What do you say, guys? Are you sure?
Oh, come on. Ryan Reynolds is going to make prune whip.
My God, it's like the Oscars are actually going to be taking place at the house during the party. We're at $17,000 on my right. Going once. Going twice. They're still talking, so I'm going to just drag this out.
It's okay. We've never met Mariska Hargitay.
$18,000 is bid. $18,000 is bid.
You just got yourself some Ron Reynolds and Blake Lively, my friend.
At $18,000, will she stand and say 19? What do you say? Or 20? There are a lot of people yelling, just say 20, but they're not bidding, so that's unfortunate for them. Any advance over $18,000? 17 and 19. $19,000 is bid. You can't stop at $19,000. Like, you just cannot do
No,
it.
you can't. My husband, George Stephanopoulos, will sign his new book. My daughter's here. She'll do your laundry for a week.
$20,000 is bid. $20,000 is bid.
Do we hear $150,000?
All right, we're at $20,000, and if we want to wrap this up before 2 a.m., I think we're going to throw it back to our original bidder on our right and ask, is there any advance over $20,000? She said no, but can she come with you?
Oh. No, she can't. She didn't bid enough. Sorry.
We are at $20,000. Any advance? Going once?
Who's going to match it? Who's going to match it?
Well, I
Come
think
on.
they would.
Anybody on a date right now, you can really impress her if you go 40,000.
Going twice.
What about table 20? Look at he wants to come.
These people are like 15 years old.
He'll have
Sold to you for $20,000.
Thank you. Congratulations. We're going out for sushi and you're paying. Bye.
All right, and now please welcome Jack Bernstein to the stage, who will introduce your first honoree of the evening, his mom.
Hello, my name is Jack Bernstein, and I'm introducing one of your honorees, which happens to be my favorite person on earth, my mom. Just to be clear, Jalen Brunson from the New York Knicks is a close second. Sorry, Dad. First, I want to thank my mom for arranging to be honored during my school finals week and 3 days before my bar mitzvah. Since there is a lot to do this week, I hope you don't mind if I use this occasion to practice my Torah portion. So here's what I have to say about my mom and Sanctuary. For her, being able to contribute to Sanctuary is an incredible privilege. As she has taught me many times, what matters most in life is what you do for others. Because of her, I have first-hand experience with Sanctuary and their work already, including joining Sanctuary's Thanksgiving dinners hosted by the NFL, which is pretty cool. Mom, you are the best. I love you.
Thank you, Jack. You're going to do great on Saturday. We're so proud of you. I'm deeply honored to be recognized by an organization as remarkable as Sanctuary for Families. As I accept this honor, I do so with a heart filled with gratitude and a profound sense of responsibility to honor Sanctuary for its passion and tireless work marked by dedication and unwavering commitment to the cause of justice and healing. Serving on the board for 9 years has been a very meaningful journey for me, made possible by Sanctuary's extraordinary leadership, who have guided Sanctuary with wisdom, compassion, and dedication. It is not just an organization, it is a beacon of hope, a sanctuary for those who have faced unspeakable trauma and injustice. I would like to honor all brave survivors and clients of Sanctuary. You are the true heroes of this organization. Recent events have illuminated the breadth and depth of Sanctuary services, the caliber of the team, and the effectiveness of its model for bringing life-saving change to women everywhere. The Supreme Court's reversal of Roe v. Wade is nothing short of devastating, especially for victims of gender-based violence. This decision grants abusers even more power to use sexual violence and reproductive coercion to control their victims. Homicide is now the leading cause of death among pregnant women. A heartbreaking 1 in 6 survivors of gender violence are first abused during pregnancy. These statistics are not just numbers, they represent the stark reality of the challenges faced by countless women every day. As a co-founder of a women's health company, I've seen firsthand the critical importance of accessible and compassionate reproductive care, including access to medication abortion. I am proud that Sanctuary took bold action by filing an amicus brief to the Supreme Court in support of reproductive care access. We argued passionately that abortion bans, which force pregnant patients to endure serious but preventable harm or to suffer until their medical conditions become life-threatening, constitute nothing less than state-sponsored gender-based violence. Sanctuary did not stop there. We joined 3 other amicus briefs and forged formidable coalitions of gender-based violence advocates and service providers nationwide. In closing, as I stand alongside my fellow honorees, Alia and Dennis, I congratulate and thank you for your tireless efforts and steadfast commitment to Sanctuary. I have loved working with you both. To my family, friends, and colleagues, thank you for being here. Your love and support mean more to me than words can express. Tonight, I'm reminded of my late father-in-law, Bob Bernstein, whose words resonate deeply with me. Bob was the founder of Human Rights Watch and always emphasized the importance of the human in human rights and the power of personal connections. Sanctuary embodies these principles, transforming the fabric of New York City one survivor at a time and fighting for justice and freedom for women nationally. Bob would say if he were here, "Lori, this is great. There's so much more to do. Keep working, keep pushing." His relentless pursuit of justice and human rights fuels my determination to continue this vital work and inspires us all to strive for better. Please push with me. Together we can make a real difference. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sophia Sahai, and I'm so honored to be introducing my mom, Alia Sahai, a woman who continues to inspire me every day, makes me see the world in a better way, and has shown me what it means to be a strong woman. Tonight, we celebrate Alia as a zero-tolerance honoree, reflecting her 13 years of dedication to and work with Sanctuary, helping victims of gender-based violence stay safe and heal, while empowering them to rebuild their lives through financial education and career advancement. Alia is truly a powerhouse and my hero. She's the hardest worker I know, excels in everything that she does, and makes magic for everyone in her life. I'm so lucky to not only have the most caring mom, but the best role model, who always leads with resilience and love. Watching Alia turn empathy into action by helping break the cycle of gender-based violence has been a privilege for me to watch and admire growing up. Some of our fondest moments and best memories together have been eating Thanksgiving lunch with families at Sanctuary, picking out our favorite clothes and books to donate to mothers at Sanctuary on Mother's Day, and marching shoulder to shoulder, fighting for social change with the Sanctuary banner at the first annual New York Women's March. At Sanctuary, Alia lifts others up and helps turn victims into victors. Mom, thank you for giving me my name, my strength, and unconditional love. I'm in awe of you. today and every day. And I can't wait to continue to see you break the cycle of gender-based violence. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming and honoring the incredible Alia Sahai. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophia. I am so lucky that you and Rafi are mine. Thank you all so much for being here. Feeling amongst family in a room of 1,000 is truly a gift. I am surrounded by the best hype man on the planet and my husband, my children, my parents, who instilled in me the priority of and love of giving, my in-laws, my closest friends, my clients, my Alliance Bernstein crew, and my co-chairs, Francesca, Lucinda, and Stacy. Thank you all. I love you. But most of all, thank you to Sanctuary, my friends and fellow honorees, Dennis and Lori. You are so wonderful, and it has truly been an honor to be on the board with you over the last 9 years. Our staff, Judy, you are a beacon of hope for all of us, and I am so grateful to you. Our board, our clients, you all have given me so much more than I could have ever imagined. Those of you who know me know that the empowerment of women is my passion. So it was destiny to find Sanctuary. Oddly, though, I found Sanctuary in a beauty salon. I was flipping through an album at the Paula Breck Salon about 14 years ago, and it was an album of a holiday party that the salon had held to care for Sanctuary clients. I was struck immediately by the organization, and the joy that the clients were feeling being cared for just jumped off the page. I had thought to myself, if these people need a beauty makeover, maybe I could help them with a financial makeover. And then on one of my first days at Horace Mann as a parent, I met Stephanie Ferdman, and as many of you realize, the rest is history. My work with Sanctuary started with helping our clients in the Economic Empowerment Program edit their resumes, prep for job interviews. I was even able to hire a few Sanctuary clients at Alliance Bernstein. And then I just did whatever they needed whenever they needed it. And as Sophia mentioned, including my family in our work was the best part. Among my biggest accomplishments as a board member, I added more diversity to our board with my amazing nominating co-chair, Anita Kawatra. We successfully nominated former Sanctuary clients to our board, because who better to help us set strategy and keep us accountable than individuals who have received our services. And with the partnership of our fabulous COO, Lisa Radcliffe, we implemented the first long-term investment strategy for Sanctuary. I may be ending my time on the board, but I am not done. I will continue to volunteer, I will give them my opinion, and of course, I will fundraise. Before I go today, I want to talk to you a bit about impact. It's a buzzword for sure. I always want to make the perfect kind of impact. For 9 years that I have been on the board, there have been many occasions that I have felt that I wasn't doing enough. Well, I guess I wasn't a slacker after all. We have these notions of what impact is and the metrics associated with it. Metrics for success can be very helpful in areas of work and life. I'm a wealth advisor, I get it. I depend on metrics to help my clients achieve success. But I would argue that metrics, as it relates to personal impact, are actually demotivating, unproductive, and actually stifling. In this case, metrics are form over substance. You have all made an impact tonight walking into this room, and that was enough. You may not feel the impact, but it's there. Before you left home, you told a friend or your children where you were headed, and that raised awareness. When you got here, you saw an old coworker in the cocktail hour or a college classmate, and that built consensus. You sat down and you listened to the story of what brought your table mate here, and that listening was the ultimate form of respect and solidarity. As insignificant as all of this may seem to you, it is not to us and the thousands of vulnerable families that we serve. This is impact, and we feel it. Some of you may be wondering how to continue on this journey of impact. My advice to you is to lead from areas of strength. In this work, satisfy your soul and not your ego. Start small, see how it feels, and do the things that really resonate with you. Surround yourself with people you like. The feeling is mutual. I am so thrilled to be in this room tonight. You have all impacted me, and for that, I am so incredibly grateful. I love these lines from Arthur O'Shaughnessy that I want to leave you with. He didn't write this ode to me, but I feel like one of the creatives that he's talking to, and so should all of you. We are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams, wandering by lone sea breakers and sitting on desolate streams. World losers and world forsakers on who the pale moon gleams, yet we are the movers and shakers of the world forever, it seems. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Tonight's last honoree has always loved two things: helping others and solving riddles. So in the fall of 1979, when a classmate asked if he'd be willing to tutor her because she had missed several of their logic classes due to the Jewish holidays, he immediately said yes. What neither of them expected was that in addition to getting an A- in logic that semester, they'd fall in love. After trying to break up several times because he could never have Jewish children and she could never have Catholic children, they ultimately solved that particular riddle by deciding they'd get married but not have any kids. 4 years later, after realizing that their solution wasn't so great, he proposed another one. Let's just have messed up kids. We are those messed up kids.
When our dad announced his impending retirement 5 years ago, we all naively expected to see a lot more of him. In typical fashion, he decided to approach his upcoming leisure time in the same way he approaches his work. So he created a 5-page bucket list of detailed assignments for himself, single-spaced, with years' worth of self-improvement and recreational activities he planned to methodically work through during his newfound free time. But since he supposedly retired, his life hasn't actually changed very much at all, at least in terms of his working hours. And rather than crossing anything off of his bucket list, it's now about 10 pages long.
As we've reflected on this, we realize that none of it should come as a surprise. Through his entire life, whether he was a prosecutor in New York, DC, or Arkansas, or a Davis Polk lawyer, he has always thoroughly immersed himself in his work, as reflected in a few photos from some of our amazing family vacations. And we've also come to realize that one of the reasons he does this is because he is modeling behavior that he's hoping to instill in each of us. Not just through his strong work ethic, but also through his relentless commitment to serving the community, having compassion for others, treating everyone with respect, and always trying to do the right thing. We will be forever grateful for his example and for his solving the riddle with our mom 35 years ago. Thanks.
Well, thanks. Thank you very much. You guys are great. Thank you. And thanks, kids. You're not nearly as messed up as I thought you'd be. But we are going to have to talk about your use of those photos. I'm incredibly humbled by this honor and to be recognized tonight with Alia and Lori, two wonderful examples of why serving on Sanctuary's board has been such an incredibly rewarding experience. Standing here tonight, I'm just so grateful to everyone who took the time to enlighten me about how widespread domestic violence is, the challenges survivors face, and what can be done to help them. And at the very top of that list is Barry Schwartz. In 2003, I was in my mid-40s, and embarrassingly, I had never taken on a pro bono case, and I had never spent a second working for a nonprofit. To that point, I had spent most of my life defending misunderstood banks. But Barry changed all of that. When he saw me at a Sanctuary event that year and learned that I didn't really know anything about Sanctuary, he immediately said, well, we got to change that. You've got to meet my daughter, Stephanie, referring, of course, to the iconic Stephanie Ferdman. As best as I can recall, before I could say to Stephanie, hi, I'm Dennis, I was on Sanctuary's Legal Advisory Council. And within 2 years, I was on Sanctuary's board, working with incredible, lifelong public servants like Judy Dorchin, Laura Fernandez, Sarah Hayes, and so many others in support of Sanctuary's vitally important mission on behalf of survivors. Then in 2019, thanks in part to Sanctuary's advocacy over many years, New York passed the Domestic Violence Survivors Justice Act. And actually, Senator Myrie is here, and he was one of the people who was very helpful in getting that passed. A groundbreaking new law that allows incarcerated survivors to be resentenced and at times immediately released from prison if they can prove that their abuse was a significant contributing factor to whatever the conduct was that resulted in their conviction. Thanks again to the outreach from others. In this case, David Crow at Legal Aid and Dara Scheinfeld at Davis Polk. This development prompted me to work under their daily tutelage on my first pro bono case on behalf of JF, a 17-year-old sex trafficking survivor. It is simply impossible to describe how I felt on April 3rd, 2020, when JF called me just seconds after she had walked out of prison because we had convinced the prosecutors to join our application seeking her immediate release. And she kept saying, and it'll stay with me forever, Dennis, I'm a free woman. I'm a free woman. I'm a free woman. Or what I felt when I saw how committed Sanctuary's economic empowerment staff was to JF's successful re-entry into the community, providing her with her own laptop, individual tutoring, a monthly stipend, and just recently, a paid internship while she was in graduate school, all of which helped make it possible for her to have the wonderful job she has today as a medical technician. It was that experience that made me think about it and persuaded me that even though I was in my 60s, overweight and pretty tired, it wasn't too late for me to roll up my sleeves and take on more individual cases on behalf of survivors. And thanks to Davis Polk, and we have many in the room, which has been my home since 1986 and has enthusiastically supported Dara and me on all of these cases, I've had the privilege to work with scores of Davis Polk attorneys, sanctuary, legal aid attorneys, on behalf of over 20 survivors in DVSJ applications and clemency petitions. Without question, these have been the most meaningful and rewarding cases of my career. And on that note, just a quick public service announcement for all of you lawyers out there. Please don't make the mistake that I made and go years, or in my case, decades, without taking on a pro bono case. I can assure you that whether you're very young or you're somebody like Bob Fisk, the best mentor and role model anyone could ever have, who graduated from law school in 1955 and took on his first DVSJ case 2 years ago. Once you see the impact of your work on these remarkably resilient survivors, you'll immediately ask for another case the moment your client walks out of prison, just as Bob did the moment his client walked out of the Taconic prison on May 18th of last year. So in closing, since I know we have lots of incredibly talented and passionate people in this room, including many of you who are not lawyers, I feel compelled to say to all of you, please don't wait for Barry to introduce you to Stephanie. I promise that Sanctuary's work is life-transforming, both for the survivors it serves and for you, and that it is without question worthy of your financial and pro bono support. And you've been so wonderful this evening in giving us all of that in terms of the paddle raise and everything you did. From the bottom of my heart and everybody on the board and all of the clients, we can't thank you enough for what you did this evening. Thank you for this honor.